Welcome, evil ones and evil wannabes, to this week's segment of Villain School.
I feel like at this point you are also, not quite evil wannabes anymore. I feel like you are there.
They should be there. They're only 2 more steps away from graduation. Well, this week, we're going to talk about being passive.
It seems so counterproductive to what we've been talking about with control and power. But sometimes the best thing is to do nothing.
So, Cruella, I'm going to let you handle this week's segment. Just kidding. So yes, this week in Villain School you will learn the art of being passive. But first of all, we talked about peer pressure and just getting as many people to come to the evil side, the dark side, as possible. It is more fun in life to be on this side of things.
As long as you have quality people, as we've all learned from my situation.
Yes, yeah, very, very clear there. And then the next lesson we learned was greed. Get as much as you can. More and more. You will not be happy until you have everything in life.
And even then, there's still more to get.
Yes. And then our favorite pastime, causing trouble. Yes.
Stir that pot.
Make sure everywhere you go, you leave your mark and cause some trouble. And last week, another one of our favorite. These are really all of our favorite words.
It's hard to control. What's our favorite?
Oh, but control is one of our favorite things as well, because I like to be in control. I am not happy unless I am in control. I have to be controlled in the situation.
Yes, Mother Gothel had it best with Mother Knows Best.
She did.
The
Always.
evil queens all know best.
Clearly. You knew best when you put that coat together. Smashing.
Fabulous.
So this week, passive. I hate to point it out, but it's 2 guys who are going to talk about this week. And one of them still sucks his thumb.
Yeah, it's 2 guys. And I have to admit, it is a strange quality to be a villain. But
It is.
for them, it seemed to work, and they did it brilliantly.
Yeah, I mean, because you wouldn't have even thought of anything except in everything that this person was doing. He just didn't see it happening.
Nothing.
Did not do anything. Like in Prince John's case, right? He just sat there while evil was happening all around him, while the sheriff was stealing taxes and money from those who were already very, very poor
Brilliant.
and could not afford it. He was stealing their money and making himself rich. And Prince John, as long as he had those jewels and golden rings on, he really didn't care that it was happening because he was happy. I mean, for crying out loud, the lion still sucked his thumb and talked about his mommy.
On mommy all the time. Because, if you can't be truly evil, the best thing to do is just sit to the side and
Ignore it.
let evil happen on its own.
Yeah, don't do anything about it.
Next, we look at our dear friend, the Duke of Weaselton.
Oh.
Or Weaseltown. He'd get so mad if you call it wrong.
Yes.
Oh, he was such a little goof. He thought he was such a fabulous dancer, and oh boy, did he just look ridiculous.
Maybe that's the next lesson we should give us villain dancing.
No, you have to be fabulous. No, but our dear friend, the Duke, anytime evil would happen, he would hide behind his bodyguards. Oh, he was such a little weasel. Oh, he would hide behind his bodyguards. He would let them do the fighting, and he would just pretend like it didn't exist.
Nothing was happening. Nothing
Again,
at all.
if you can't control the evil, you just gotta let it happen and try not to stop it.
Nope, just let it hide, go on around you and
No.
hide from the whole
Just
situation.
wash your hands of all of that goodness. Oh my.
Just get some popcorn, sit back and watch the show because it always unravels right in front of you.
Because why be good when you can be evil?
Yeah. So this week, your lesson is to just
Let it
exist.
happen.
Let it happen. So if you see that, poor guy getting over there mugged or robbed or
Let it
taxes
happen.
taken from the already poor, just let it happen. Why would you want to stop something that's bad happening?
No, do not inflict your good
No.
into something already evil.
So just let it happen. Don't say a word. If all else fails, you could be like Prince John and just
Suck your
suck
thumb.
your thumb and call on mommy.
Brilliant. Dear friends, good luck. Let it happen.
Or let it go.
These villains just aren't going to stop.
They aren't. And Prince John and we have Duke and
Weaselton.
Prince. Must be something with royalty. No, just
Weaselton.
They did not want to stand up for what was right.
Right.
They
Correct.
just kind of removed themselves from the situation and did not.
Kind of like hid in a corner. I always like Prince John, you know, like sucking his thumb. You can just like picture him like cowering in the corner. You know, he was not gonna ever stand up for what was right. He just was gonna let evil go, which is what our villains are trying to teach us to do. Like, let evil take over. You know, try not to stop it. We're saying that that's not the right way to go.
No. So, yeah, we see, like, Prince John and the Duke here, a man named Pontius Pilate, very guilty of being passive, you could even call him a coward. You could call him spineless, because in standing up for what was right, he just simply actually washes his hands of the whole situation.
Quite literally. Yeah, at this point in time, like, Jesus is a ping pong ball. Last week we talked about Herod, and we related it back to like the birth of Jesus, Herod's role, but Herod also has a role in this one. And so first Jesus came to Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate asked if he was a Galilean, and it was all like, whew, he is Herod's problem. We're going to send him back to Herod. Herod and his people like mocked him.
Yep, just made fun of him and said, guess what, you're going back to Pontius.
Sent him back to Pontius Pilate. So now we're at the point of the story where we've talked about before with the mob, where they are like chanting that they want Barabbas released. They want Jesus to stay in prison. And so it goes to Matthew chapter 27, and it says, when Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere, but that instead an uproar was starting, he took water and washed his hands in front of the crowd. I am innocent of this man's blood, he said. It is your responsibility. And so then ultimately they chanted again that they wanted Barabbas released, and Pilate said, okay, and he did it. And so while we can look at Pilate and be like, oh, well, he knew that Jesus was innocent, he also was not willing to stand up for Jesus, and instead just continued setting him forward towards death.
So once again, we know that these events had to play out, had to take place, because without these events, we obviously would not have gained eternal life, you know, forgiveness of sins and all of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, Pontius Pilate had the chance to stand up for what was right. He knew that Jesus was not guilty of all of these things, but because he was not willing to stand up against such a crowd and to publicly declare that Jesus was, he just said, I'm done. It's all on you guys. Whatever happens now is totally on you. But we see that the Bible is a tool for us, life lessons to learn. So now it's our job not to be a Pontius Pilate and not stand up for our faith or for what is right. It's hard. It's difficult. It is not something that you can just easily stand up and. The Bible is full of examples in which people were persecuted for standing up for what was right, for their faith, for Jesus. All the martyr stories that we see, I mean, being stoned to death because you knew Jesus. Yeah, it's not easy. No. It's not going to be easy. But guess what? Those people pick on you, those people persecute you, but you are a child of the one who created it all. And he is much bigger than anything that could possibly ever happen to you here on earth while you're fighting in his name. I mean, he legit suffered and died for you, so I'm pretty sure that we could take a little bit of picking on or persecution when it comes to standing up for our faith and what is right.
Yeah, so our villains this week encouraged you to just stand by and let evil happen. Don't stop it. Don't step in its way. We encourage you to do the opposite. Stand up for what is right. Stand up for those who are hurting. Stand up for those who are oppressed. And ultimately, stand up for your faith. You know, wear it proudly, put it on your sleeve, you know, make sure people know that you are a child of God. And by knowing that you are a child of God, they then will know that they are loved by Christ too, because he died for them just as much as he died for each and every one of us.
Yeah, and you are fully equipped in the full armor of God. So there is nothing that can even come closely to harming you, because you are protected and you are wrapped around in the love of Christ, and that's where we're guaranteed to always remain. So in the oppositeness of those evil villains, Do not be a Prince John or a Duke or a Pontius Pilate.
Yeah, don't run away from things that are hard. Instead, run right towards them. And that especially comes when it comes to defending your faith. Run into it.
Have a great week. We'll see you next time.